And I learned this for the first time. One of the speakers in it, they said that meditation is actually a Sanskrit word for cultivation. It means cultivation. And when I heard that, everything changed. I was like, oh, whoa. And that makes sense because it's really about you just diving into the ocean of pure awareness. And that's a buildup. And so that's when it hit me. I just started to think like, okay, I know that's true. I could feel it. So let me sink into that and understand and experience how that's true. That's what awareness grants us. And as I just kept doing it, as I'm doing it now, I'm just like, ooh, that is so powerful. Meditation is actually a Sanskrit word meaning cultivation. And when I anything that you want, you desire, anything that you experience is a cultivation. It's just how cultivated or how much, yeah, how cultivated are you? And what that means to me is how long are you able to be aware of being able to be aware? Without, like, not saying without distraction, but are you able to willingly let go of anything else? And they even, the same person I've talked about talked to another monk, and I believe it was his teacher, and he said, how do you like pretty much tap into pure awareness? And the monk told him, I'm going to give you a different meditation. This meditation is to let go of meditation. And he said that like that's just what this meditation will teach you, how to get into pure awareness. And what you need to do is to let go of meditation. And his student, which was still a very much older student, he was like, I'd say maybe at least like 63. Like, and I think the teacher was younger than him. But he told him just let go of it. And he instantly started, well, how do you know if you're distracted? How do you know that? And it was so beautiful because, like I said, once you get to a certain level of awareness, it's like when you hit a certain level of awareness, you understand that you suffer as much as you need to suffer up to the point that you realize you no longer need to suffer. And that is an amazing thing. And so it's in the same way with the meditation. If you're always holding on to the idea of like, how do I meditate? How do I meditate? I'm still thinking of meditating. Once you really desire to get to pure awareness, you'll let go of the meditating and you'll just float away into your experience and just experience. And that will start awakening things within you because you'll start to feel yourself vibrate, feel those energies that are resonating on levels that you were not cautious of. You were not aware of them. They were not able to be perceived by you because there was so much clogging your channels and telling you, hey, focus on me, and you were allowing that to happen. But since you allow pure awareness, allowed yourself to go back to yourself and sit in pure awareness, all is now available to you and in a way that has never been. So I don't even have to talk for the second part because because this can influence the purity of your visions. That's that second part. So I'm glad that I'm on point with the pattern. Like I always said, it takes one to know one. So, key takeaways. This is a great time to channel your energy into brainstorming inventive ideas. Trust what comes up for you. As long as you are willing to experiment. And they hit it on the head. I was experimenting with some other stuff the other day, creating some stuff, so I love it. And I've been experimenting with AI art, so I love it. And see failure as a lesson. It's not an L if you turn it into a W, and if you just learn the lesson, it's already a W. So then you can continuously grow through any obstacle. It's powerful, and it's funny how it's coming from trust your talent. There's a book called Unique Ability, and I haven't even read all the way through it, but I started to read it once when I was in a very heightened state, and it resonated with me heavily. And so this just reminded me of that, and I wanted to bring that up to you guys because as I do read it, and I'll probably read it and with you guys, I think you'll find some good stuff in there. So the final slide during this time, and I always love when they do this, they give you questions so you can actually reflect. And it's one thing to read this, and I've had this happen so many, well, not so many, a few times, and I've started to make sure to do this. It's one thing to read it, but when you read it, you need to stop, reread it, and ask yourself the question that you're reading. Like actually ask, and you will hear yourself respond, and you will start to engage. That's the kind of integration that we need, because that's the kind of integration that causes change. That's a real integration. That's not just, oh, I'm throwing it within I'm brushing it up against my intelligence, or I'm interacting with it intelligently. That's not what we're here to do. We're here to actually integrate it. So it's cool to integrate it, or it's cool to dabble or touch and mold it a bit with our mind, but it's another thing to take it in the mind, feel it within the heart, and then connect those two and allow that acceptance to resonate without your being. It's a completely different process. During this time, you may ask yourself, how can I bring new original ideas into the world like that? And how can my creativity free me from limitations? I like that even more. How can I bring new original ideas into the world? And how can my creativity free me from limitations? I love both of those, and I always love how their things have that strong dichotomy. How can I bring new original ideas into the world? So you know how they say nothing is original, but it's funny because we all are unique. So I believe that original ideas and creativity really is remolding something that is, because everything already is, whether or not we got it from another person or we actually just streamed it from the ether akasha source, whatever you want to call it. It's still gone through another vessels at some point, so it doesn't matter. We're all streaming the same conversation, the same data, the same energy and vibration. So I like how they say to ask that, because really what it's asking you in Trust Your Talent is, how can you throw on your own energy onto what is, and that's what makes it anew in a way that only you would think of doing it, because only you have a few of those key factors, and that it factor that makes you you. And how can my creativity free me from limitations? Creativity, again, already stemming from a place of birthing what is, but again, in a new place. And so getting in tune with yourself to bring out something that is new is inspiration in itself. And that in itself is freeing. How can my creativity free me from limitations? You will be outside of that thinking of how can I do this? How can I da. Like Yadi said on Let's Start Here. You could have already created a painting with all this time that you've been sitting here thinking about it. Get started. Start now. Trust your talents. And so I love what they say right here. Getting outside of ourselves by getting in tune and going down deep within ourselves will help us resonate with what it is we really are seeing, and really, more than anything, are wishing and praying and sometimes internally hiding what we want to say and express to the world, because that is who we are. And so I love this Trust Your Talent. This is it's really a whole new way of being, and it's awesome that I love this pattern. I love it for me. I'm glad that I stumbled upon it when I did, and keeping it in mind, again, for real integration is what's most key. So we got a couple of more episodes coming up right after this. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is Waking Wellness. This is the pattern episode. Hopefully we start to be their official host and they start to have videos and I'm the one doing them. So that's the goal, or that's the hope. And I hope you guys go download the pattern. I hope you learn. I hope you grow. And until next time, it's Waking Wellness. Health is well. I love you guys.